Oh, okay. I'll try and be brief on this at the moment. Just want to try and outline a few things very briefly. Some of my friends and family would have seen the reports and the actual brief films that were shown on television, where the United States Navy has officially released footage of taken by gunships, in other words, like the planes that, not gunships, the how can you put it, the cameras, they used to call them gun cameras, and anyway, of UFOs that were seen in reasonable numbers, and the descriptions of what occurred, as I said, is beyond normal human physics at the time, and recorded on radar on the ships. The ships were about 80 miles or so off the coast of San Diego in 2004, and the aircraft was an aircraft carrier, and several pilots were on manoeuvres out there and practicing and so forth. And these were highly skilled, highly trained, knowledgeable pilots, and they saw craft, and they described them as that, doing things that shouldn't be possible. For example, they recorded these are large craft. These are about the size, they said, of a 737, so they're good size vehicles, right? One of them was at 20,000 feet and fell instantly down to 50 feet above the ocean in less than 1 second. They're just straight down. Other craft were flying in formation at times and changing direction instantly across the horizon and the nearer into the jet fighters. There's lots of exciting commentary by pilots, and describing these craft. They describe them as tic-tac shaped. They're kind of just white, large, almost cylindrical shaped, but more like a tic-tac lolly that we all know. But these, as I say, were very, very large. Now, their manoeuvres and their behaviour, shall we say, indicated intelligent control. In other words, we would describe them as alien craft. And the reason that they're said to be alien craft is because no air forces or even secret weapons or any other agencies on Earth can produce anything like these particular vehicles that were seen. And in one occasion they flew over this craft that was just below the surface of the water, and that it took off out of the ocean and zipped off into the horizon, so we say, just very quickly. So the point is, we're dealing with something that's not of this earth. And they said this, and there's been movies on it. If you type in tic-tac UFOs, you'll get a documentary on the subject. And you can do some more research into that and see that it is true. And as I say, the US Navy has finally released it as and confirmed that they are absolutely genuine. Media and naval representatives and so on do not draw any conclusions. They don't say, oh, these are alien spacecraft, but they actually are. Privately, they'd say that they are. And I think, and people might accuse me of leaping to conclusions on this, but I think this is part of a full disclosure. So the known and as full disclosure about UFOs over 50, 60 or more years. UFO crashes such as Roswell and Aztec in America, and numerous other things, close encounters, landings by craft, people seeing beings and so forth. And you had the Betty and Barney Hill case where people were actually abducted and examined, medically examined, and all that sort of thing. Now, some people poo-hoo more of that, but I can assure you it's a very, very strong case that we're mounting on this. And when I'm talking about full disclosure, it'll be revealing that lies and cover-up, shall we say, over all these years of what the government knows about, and there's very, very strong evidence that alien bodies have been put into storage, examined, and all that sort of thing. So I'm just more or less making that statement that this is coming, but now I'm very hopeful that it will be, well, I'd like it to be in the very near future, but it could well be in a year or two or so, whatever. But there's going to be something happen on this, and I have no idea of the timing. That's the only thing I could tell you. I just feel that there will be a full disclosure, and basically it will shock the world, shall we say, and to realise that we've had this interaction with beings, with civilised beings from other parts of the galaxy or nearby galaxy, and of course then you come to people saying, oh, you can't go faster than the speed of light, how do they get here, and so on. Well, they have overcome time and space, and there is a theory out called string theory, where if you, in other words, to illustrate it, if you had a sheet of paper, a dot on either side of the sheet of paper, 100 million light years, or any amount of time, wouldn't matter if it was 10 million light years distance on it, you fold it in half and they two meet. So the travelling from one place to another in the galaxy or anywhere would be no effort whatsoever. They're way, way in advance of us. And then, of course, you open up a whole can of worms here with how many civilizations are there, how many species, in other words, are there. And I don't want to go long-winded into some of the things that I've read and some of the not just books, the usual YouTube and other things, but my research has shown that there are many species. The point here also is, now I'm a Christian. I believe that God's created them, or created many, many of them, and that they haven't evolved, and the more species there are, the more likelihood there is that they're created. So I would put it that way. I don't believe that the universe is filled with life. Some of my friends think that the universe is empty and that only the earth exists. Well, I'd say that God wouldn't have an empty universe. That's my main point. So I just thought I'd make a couple of points on that and just say that I think that it's going to occur. And today is the 29th of April 2020, by the way, so that if anyone was looking back on this and say, well, when did I say all of this? That's the day that I've said it. And I'd welcome any civilised and polite questioning or discussion or comments on this. And well, let's just see what develops over time with it. And I think we're getting much closer than we ever have been to a full revelation on what has been going on for a very, very long time. So thank you for viewing.